a lot of people hate social media. So they're kind of just checking the box. Let me just post and then I did it, you know. And they're missing the point. The point on social media is to build relationships, to build authentic relationships.
In this episode, I talk with Morad Fiki. Morad is a former U.S. naval officer and current luxury real estate agent in Houston, Texas. He proudly claims to be the #1 realtor on social media, and you'll soon see why. We talk about branding, how to use social media the right way, mistakes to avoid, trends to follow, ChatGPT, and so much more. I hope you enjoy this show. Now let's get into it. How's it going, Morad?
Hey, going great, man. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Good. Looking sharp, loving it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know, and I wanted to have you on for this particular topic because like with social media, we're going to get a lot into that later. But first, I want to point out something that I've always appreciated about like your brand, and that's the tagline you have: #1 Houston realtor on social media. Because that's a big. I mean, Houston's not a tiny town. That's a huge statement, but.
Yeah.
But I've been wondering, and this is kind of my question. Is that like an affirmation, kind of like Floyd Mayweather, where he calls it a money Mayweather, like just he's willing it to
I'm
happen?
the best.
Or
we the best.
Yeah, or yeah, with Muhammad Ali, like I am the greatest, like way before he was the greatest. Like he knew it to his bone. Did any of that play into that, or I don't know?
Well, I mean, you know, without sounding too cocky, I know for a fact no one is doing in Houston real estate what I'm doing when it comes to social media, when it comes to online advertising, content strategy. So, and no one has the flavor, the passion, the energy, the creativity, the excitement that I have when it comes to real estate in Houston. And so I like to entertain, excite, and educate my audience. And so, you know, I don't like making the same lame videos that everybody does. You know, oh, this is Joe Smith Realty. You know, contact me if you want to buy or sell. It's so much more than that. It's being creative. You know, I feel like I'm an artist when it comes to content strategy, and I'm learning every day, and I'm thinking of ideas, and I want to excite and entertain my audience. So it's so much more than just real estate. It's about entertainment.
Yeah, and you absolutely do all those things. I mean, what came to mind quickly was like Bruce Lee, and he was just talking about like the way he approached martial arts was very philosophical. It was me. This is him speaking. Like it's just me expressing myself. So he approached it from a very artistic standpoint that he mastered and became pretty legendary, you know, afterwards. And I don't know, maybe are you become a legendary status in the Houston area now?
So, I mean, I like to motivate people. I like to entertain people. And I also like to bring an authenticity to real estate, because real estate is exciting. But you know, you gotta bring excitement and bring some flavor to it. And no one's really doing that in Houston. In fact, Houston real estate's been so lame for so long. And so like I want to bring some flavor to it, kind of like what they do in New York and LA.
Yeah, you're bringing sexy back to real estate. You should do a parody video on that. I would love it. So, when did you? I guess do a quick like background of how you got started in real estate, where you are now, and then we'll get into social media and how that plays.
Yeah, I've been in real estate 10 years now. I started when I was honorably discharged from the U.S. Navy back in 2013. February of 2013, I was able to dive head in. I actually got my real estate license when I was doing my undergrad degree at the University of Houston. That was back in 2009, but I went straight into active duty with the U.S. Navy. So I didn't have time to, you know, practice. I just got my real estate license because I figured if I get my real estate license, I'll learn real estate. And nothing can be further from the truth. They don't really teach you anything in real estate school except for how to get your license.
Yeah, and they teach you how to stay out of jail.
Yeah, kind of. Even then, not really, but kind of. And so I got my license. I just left it inactive, and then when I was on active duty and I knew I was coming home, my wife, who was my fiance at the time, she has like said, "Hey, have you seen this show Million Dollar Listing on Bravo?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen it." She was like, "You could totally do that." And then so I started watching the show, and like I was like, well, I got my real estate license. She's like, what, really? Like I was like, yeah, I already have it. I just have to activate it or whatever. And that's kind of how I dove into real estate, just with that. I saw the show, I was like, ooh, that looks exciting. Of course, they show how exciting it is. They don't show the ups and downs, and
Yeah.
this is a business and you got to get business. I mean, there's so much I've learned since then. But
So
that's how I learned, I got in. Yeah.
did social media, was that from the beginning part of your marketing and branding strategy, or did that evolve later on?
It evolved because I learned in social media, I can build an audience. I can build and grow and communicate with an audience much easier than the outdated models of mailing and emailing. Emailing is still a great way to stay in touch with your list and build a list. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with emailing, but social media was a great way that I could build an audience and continue building and growing that in a very fast pace. And not just that, for you to get to know somebody on a personal level, it takes months, sometimes years. Social media condenses the time frame.
100%.
You connect with somebody on Facebook and you feel like you know them, even though you've never met them in person. And that's what's been fascinating about it.
Yeah, it's adding that visual and audio component to it that email just can't do. A direct mail letter just can't do. And I guess you could knock on doors, but yeah. But
the video component and people getting to feel like they know you. Of course, you've got to bring the authenticity to your channels. And which is why I tell agents, if they're just constantly promoting listings and there's no them, like who are you?
Yeah.
Then they're missing a huge opportunity, because social media is a great way to condense the time frame and get people to know you on a personal basis, even though they haven't met you or spent time with you per se.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. So you alluded to the question. The question is, what are you seeing a lot of real estate professionals out there use social media the wrong way? Now, you talked about, hey, here's my listing, or here's this, or here's this, here's this.
And I'm not saying you don't promote listings, and I'm not saying you don't promote your business, but you over everything, you want to promote you. You are a brand. And that's where people miss the mark. A lot of people hate social media. So they're kind of just checking the box. Let me just post and then I did it, and they're missing the point. The point on social media is to build relationships, to build authentic relationships.
That's the whole point of social. It's like going to a party.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the person that goes to a party and hands out business cards to everyone? Like that's kind of weird, right? Like,
it's kind of weird.
Do you want to go, would you want that at a party? Or would you rather someone come up and talk and like, how are you doing? Like actually have the social component. It's not a sales party. It's a social media platform.
It's social. It's social media. So, and that's the thing I say, like when you post, are you going back in there and commenting on people, engaging? So people comment on your post. If you never go back there until the next day to post, you're missing the mark. No, not only are you teaching the algorithm that you're not active, which will suppress you. Number two is you're missing the mark. You're missing the opportunity to grow your audience and build some authentic relationships and let people know, hey, thanks for commenting. I appreciate that. Or when somebody says, wow, that's a great event that you were at. Hey, thanks. We had a great time. What do you go to these same type of events? I mean, you're missing opportunities to engage your audience. And so people tell me, big miss, they say, gosh, that's so time consuming. Of course it is. Anything worth any value or substance is going to take time and energy and effort and money. So But if you don't see the value, that's why people don't invest in it. They don't see the value. They don't see how social media condenses the time frame and actually can allow me to build relationships a lot faster than I could otherwise.
Yeah, and that would be it's kind of an audacious statement for a realtor to make. I mean, really in most businesses, but especially real estate, it's such a social business. It's such a people business. To have the audacity to say it's time consuming effectively means I don't have time to talk to people. People are your business. And for you not to at least heart the comment at a bare minimum, but like going back to the party example, if someone said something and said, hey, love your tie, glad you came, good seeing you here, would you just walk away? Like that'd be rude, right? Like, tell me your 2 cents.
Yeah, like you got to engage your audience. And so when people comment on your post, number one, they're seeing your content. They liked it enough to at least stop and say something.
They took time out of their day and gave it to you.
Yeah. You've got to engage them. And you know what? Like people who complain, this takes a lot of time. I do this on all my platforms. So I go on LinkedIn and I engage the audience. I go on Twitter, I engage my audience. I go on Facebook, I go on Instagram, I go on TikTok and I engage the audience. So, yeah, of course it takes time. But if you see that this is a value add, I had somebody reach out to me on TikTok and schedule an appointment because they saw one of my videos. They wanted to talk about selling a house. You see the value component that people can find me. Social media allows people to come to me as opposed to me having to hunt all the time. Then you would see the value in investing time, money, and energy into these platforms.
Yeah, and they do take time. There's no debating that. Now, various folks, you have different ways of managing that time and how you do it. Like there's the Gary V where he's on and off all day, like 18-hour days. And then other folks time block it, like maybe 30 minutes to an hour in the morning, of the evening. Like, how do you approach the actual engagement part, or actually just anything, the actual posting or engagement? Do you time block, or are you sporadic?
When I get a free moment, I just dive right in. And then, I'm thinking about my content strategy. What do I want to post for the day? What kind of creative, authentic posts can I create that maybe I can post later? And then I'm going to go in and see what people have been commenting on my previous posts, and I'm going to engage them and just build those relationships. So it takes time, and you definitely need to time block. Sometimes I do it when I'm having lunch, so I can knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. And, it's the long-term strategy that you have to look at. And I'm always looking at building my audience and building a relationship with my audience.
Yep. Love it. So what platforms, you mentioned several of them already. What platforms are you most focused on right now? Or is it pretty balanced?
I mean, lately I've been really feeling out TikTok. So I've been posting videos on TikTok, short snippets. But I'm also posting on YouTube Shorts. I'm testing that out and seeing how that works. But LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter's been popping lately, ever since Elon Musk took over. So really, it's different strokes for different folks. So I'm on all these platforms because you have people who love Twitter, but they're not on Facebook.
Yep.
And you have people who are on LinkedIn and they're not on Facebook. And so, you definitely want to reach a broad audience, and there's different platforms have different audiences. And so that's why, I'm on all of them and, just filling them out. They all have different strategies as well.
Yeah. So do you go that granular in thinking about, hey, I'm posting on LinkedIn, so this is going to be a little bit different than what I posted on TikTok? Or is it more of the cross posting where you're going to copy and paste?
Yeah, for sure. Not all the Instagram posts are the same ones you want to put on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more professional. Same with Facebook. You don't want to go, you can put personal stuff on LinkedIn. I'm not saying you can, but maybe if it's too personal or deep, maybe you don't want to do it on LinkedIn. So you really have to see what is the platform and what is the piece of content and what is the goal of that piece of content.
Yep. Yep. Love it. Trends. TikTok has
Oh yeah.
definitely changed the game for
Yeah.
social media, and they're putting a lot of the other the giants on a bit of a defense, or at least they're scrambling to play offense again. But other than that, or maybe including that, what trends are you seeing play out so far this year with social media?
TikTok has a bunch of trends. Instagram has their own trends. They're competing heavily with TikTok on the Reels. The Reels is their version of the TikTok videos. So nice, short, sweet. And so I mean, they're just and then you see when you go on TikTok, you can find trends. You can see like lately certain sounds or images are
Yep.
trending. And you could post something and see if you could catch a trend. But the biggest thing is just having an authentic video, something that's really tailored to you. And you can get inspiration from what other people are doing. I get inspired from what other people are doing. But you can also twist it and make it your own and make it your own style and do something that maybe someone else had success doing, but you make it your own and now you relaunch it and you can catch a great trend or get a great engagement on something.
Yeah.
So
On the authenticity, I coach folks on social media all the time, and I get this. Well, I'm just not good on camera, or I don't like doing it, or I don't know what to post. And my advice to them has always been like, you're going to meet people, right? Like you're actually going to meet a
yeah,
buyer or seller, right? Okay, well, how would you act with them? Like do the same thing on camera. And it's not always 100%. I mean, because camera does change things a little bit, but at the end of the day, just be you. Like you don't have to be fake. You don't. No one out there needs to be Morad. No one needs to be
yeah,
me. You don't need to be Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or any of those people. Like be you.
yeah,
People
yeah.
want to know you.
Exactly. People want to know you and they want to get to know you on a personal level. Social media is a great way to condense that time frame. So be authentic. Don't put up a facade. Be who you are and enjoy doing it. I've come to feel this like an art. This is an art form for me. So have fun with it. Get creative.
And you never know that there's been plenty of folks that they have done that. They felt a little awkward at first, but then they realized they just connected very well with some folks, and they've exploded into hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. And that may not be
Yeah.
your goal. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that can happen. And if you were to get to that level, like there's a lot of different opportunities to come up. But even if you
Hmm.
have an extra like 5,000, 10,000 followers, or regardless of followers, just views. These are people who are
Yeah.
valuing what you're putting out there. They want to connect with you in some form or fashion. And some of them may be clients. They may do business, or they may refer someone. I'm curious, and it'd be very difficult to actually put a pen to this, but how much of your business last year was from someone who never did business from you, but they referred the person who did do business with you just because they saw you on social media, that second or third connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't have an exact number, but it's definitely been a lot. We definitely get a lot of referrals from people who maybe don't know us, but they say, man, this guy's doing great. You should call him. So, I mean, it's a huge win. You got to think of content as assets. So we know real estate is an asset. We know that, I own this piece of property, it cash flows, it pays me every month. That's an asset. You got to think of your content as assets as well. Why is that? Because that's working for me in the background while I'm sleeping. When I'm sleeping, people can watch my content and reach out to me or think about me or so it's doing wonders for me while I'm resting.
Yep. Yep.
And that's an asset. If people thought about content as assets, they would be more focused on producing quality content that's going to work for you while you're sleeping.
Yeah, it's like my buddy Connor Steinbrook, Trevor Mock, also with Carrot. He's they mentioned it's evergreen content. And
Yeah.
on certain platforms, that evergreen is more powerful, like YouTube, because YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, owned by the number one
Yeah.
biggest search engine in the world, Google. And
Yeah.
it's like a fishing line in the water. Like,
Oh yeah.
how long would it take you to catch a fish if you just throw one line in? Well, what if you threw one line in every single day? Like,
Yeah.
and then now you expound that
And
over
left it
3
there.
years.
Yeah.
So now you have like 900,000 something lines in the water, and you're catching 3 or 4 fish a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, just produce content. All right. Chat GPT. It's been a big buzzword over the last 60 days, 90 days or so. I first heard about it when I'd seen it here or there, but when it really caught my attention is someone made a post showing how many or how long it took to get to 1 million users. And it was like all these other like great platforms. There was the Facebooks, the Instagram, Google, whatever, and then the TikTok, which was the latest champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chat GPT, which like 10x, and only so TikTok really launched during COVID, like 2020.
Yeah.
Chat GPT like leapfrogged TikTok and how quickly it was adopted to get to 1 million users, and now it's way surpassed that.
Oh yeah.
First,
And Google just announced their competitor version of
oh
ChatGPT.
yeah, oh there's a lot of that coming. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a race to the greatest AI, and it's just going to change the game because now forget about having to hire a copywriter. You know, not saying a copywriter is not valuable, because a copywriter is valuable in that if they're really good at creating catchy headlines and phrases, but you can have the system write an article for you and you post it, and within minutes it just saves you so much time. It's so incredible.
How do you see realtors using so you do investments as well, so on both sides, how do you see Chat GPT or AI type content being used in real estate?
Realtors are already using AI to create listing descriptions, open house flyers, information about properties, the things that realtors hate doing, which is copywriting. And a lot of them
descriptions, like for me, listing descriptions, like I'm the worst at that. It's like, how do I write the same thing differently? It's like it feels so boring, and then I put it in there and it was like, whoa, that sounds amazing.
Whoa, yeah, exactly. It's just helping out in so many ways. It's really phenomenal. I wonder what's going to happen, like with college kids having to write essays. Are they going to use it to write an essay, and it's not even them?
I don't know. I mean, here's my thought. So my wife's a teacher, and I showed her this story. So I went to Chat GPT. She didn't know about it, and I said, write 500 words about George Washington, because she was a history teacher.
Yeah.
And I gave it to her. I was like, how does this, read this, let me know what you think about it, both in grammar and also accuracy. And she was just like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I was like, okay. That took me 1.5 seconds to write. And then I was like, this is going to replace college papers for kids. And then she got all defensive, rightfully so. I mean, that the education community, that they've been very defensive about it, and I empathize about that, with that. But at the end of the day, I heard, this is a long time ago, there was the analogy, like roads and cities are all built on top of each other. Like Rome is like, how many Romes are underneath the actual Rome that's sitting today, and roads? But we have the same thing with technology. Like when we go to a computer, we're not typing ones and zeros.
Yeah.
At one point you did.
Yeah.
But there's layers of technology that keep getting stacked that make it easier and easier. And now you can get 10-year-olds to go in there and make like social media platforms, and they can do it in very simplistic computer languages compared to like the 1980s Pascal or whatever they were doing back then. So I almost think of like, what this does is it puts a layer. It doesn't replace humans. It creates an extra layer where now humans are going to use this tool in a creative manner to create something even better.
And that's it's just so incredible. It almost feels like it's cheating. Like writing papers and stuff. But I mean, doing property descriptions, copy, writing quick articles on the state of the greater Houston real estate market, and just helping me put my ideas into a easy, concise, and understandable format, and doing it within seconds. It's so incredible.
Love it. Love it. At the end of the day, like, it's here, it's going to grow. Like, you can adapt or die. That's my philosophy. All right. So, I guess one final question, then we'll kind of move into the closing. So you've got a TV show coming up, right? Or you've got something you've been working on the background, right?
Well, I was on the cast of Real Estate King, Grant Cardone, real estate show, the Houston edition.
Okay, awesome.
I know he's still filming other cities, so there's like Houston, Atlanta, Miami.
So that hasn't aired yet.
It has not. So he's pitching it to Netflix and Amazon and Hulu. And so when someone picks up the show, and I'm sure he's going to get a great deal for it, then we'll have the details of when is it going to air, when and where is it going to air.
Going full circle here, how do you think that person even knew about you?
Man, I was beating down the door of the casting director. I knew that I would be great on the show.
Okay, so you were going after them. What made you? Do you think your social media presence played a role in them, having that conversation?
Possibly, but I would probably say more so my persistence, because I was going to get their attention. And that's the thing in life. You got to go after it. You can't just wait for somebody to come find you.
Yep.
Like, does Grant Cardone need me more than I need him? Like, he's already like a worldwide celebrity. So, I'm going to go pound their door down and get in the door. And that's really the perseverance, the persistence that I had with that. And so, they gave me a shot, and I think the show is going to be super exciting when it's released. But I told them, like, you need talent. You need people who are going to make the show entertaining.
Yep.
And so I was not going to stop until they gave me a chance to audition.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, those grants, I mean, I don't know how long he did that for years, like looking for a show. Same thing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So these last couple questions we ask everyone on the show. If you could give advice to your 20-year-old self, what would that be?
Man, go for it. Go for it. Don't think about how and all the details. Just go for it and put one step in front of the other and keep charging forward, and the path will reveal itself en route.
Love it. What book or books have greatly influenced your life?
Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Think and Grow Rich is a classic by Napoleon Hill. One of the best business books of all time. If you haven't read it, you should go get it today. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It's a fascinating. So I'm a history buff. I love history. I love people who've conquered entire regions, created empires. It's kind of the same in war as in business, creating business empires and doing such. And the 48 Laws of Power really talks about principles that have helped people rise to great, massive lengths and great amounts of power. But it also shows examples, this law and so-and-so did this, Napoleon did this, Alexander the Great did this, and it's just so fascinating.
Awesome. In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
Thinking positive and straying away from the negative. We are brainwashed into being negative thinkers and often shooting down our own dreams and ideas before we even give it a chance. So just putting that aside and thinking about the possibility instead of what you don't have or why it won't work, that's been huge. You've got to think about the possibility and go for it.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right. How can folks reach out to you?
Man, so I am on every single social media platform. I want to connect with you on your favorite platform. So whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm on TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Let's connect. I would love to connect with you. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with your audience. I appreciate it. This is fantastic. And let me know if there's any way I can help. And I'm also on the premier website for Houston Luxury Real Estate, which is HoustonLuxuryRealEstate.com.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Chris. And if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know.
100%. Take care.
We'll see you soon.